Good morning, Christine from Dogs for Life, Training and Wellness. And I want to talk about puppy group training classes. And so I always find it interesting when I'm talking to new puppy owners that call and they want to do a training class and whatnot. And you know, uh, I'm an in-home trainer, but sometimes the question about group training comes up. And what's interesting to me is that a lot of people, when they think about group puppy training, they think about socialization. And so, socialization and group puppy training is two very different things. And so, socialization is where you're having your puppy interacting with the other dogs, playing and interacting with the other people and having these experiences. That is socialization. Group training is actually distraction training. And so, distraction training, if you understand the different levels of training, is very difficult for a puppy to manage going into a classroom with 5 or 6 other dogs and other people, and there's an excitement level, or there might be some fear issues, or maybe they're overwhelmed. And as a group trainer in the past, I've come to observe that a lot of people who have puppies can sometimes get very frustrated with their puppy because they're not doing what they need to be doing in class. And so a couple of things. One, training levels. The first level of training is introducing your dog to an action and a word, and teaching. It's a learning phase. And this is generally best taught in a very quiet area. So if you put it into people perspective, you would not take your young child who is learning the basics of math and they're being introduced to this concept and take them to Great America and sit down on a bench where there's all these games and rides and hundreds of people and food and snacks and all of this stuff going on, and expect them to actually maintain information. Usually it's introduced and then they go, the concept is introduced to them, they go home and they sit either in their quiet classroom and or at home with a parent, and they begin to learn this skill set. Now, once the skill set has been learned, then certainly it can apply into distraction. You can go back to Great America. You can give your kid $20 and say, this is what you got to go get, some snacks or play some games. And your kid can go to, game to game, and they can do the basic math. And so the learning phase is best done in a quiet environment. And so the next phase of training is what we call consequences. It's a positive, negative consequence. This is what happens when you respond appropriately. This is the response that happens when you make a mistake. From there, the dog has a better understanding of the expectation, and therefore when you put them into distraction, you now have a technique that the dog understands, and you can begin to build them, whether you're in the community or whether you're in a group class or somebody comes to the house. There's that expectation, and the dog has a better understanding of that. So, socialization in group classes is not socialization. It's distraction training. And so when you go to group classes, the idea is for the pet parent to pick up the technique and to go home and apply that. And so it's very, very different. However, the challenge is in these group classes, generally, it's very generalized. It's not specific. So if you're struggling with an area, it's not probably going to be covered in your class. And so that, again, can sometimes be a deterrent for group classes and why somebody would want to go to an in-home training. But the point being is there is a difference between puppy socialization classes and actually puppy obedience training. And so keep that in mind when you are out and you got a new puppy, as to what type of method and how do you want your training to progress. So you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you soon.